In answering the question of how technical you need to be in order to be an IT project manager, you may or may not like this answer, but my answer is it depends. It depends on the organization that you're working within, the teams that you're working with, and the particular type of IT projects that you are managing. But before we delve deeper into this, my name is Alexis. I have over 10 years experience in project management and agile delivery. Now, for some reference point here, my background is in business and computer science. I got a degree in business information management, which half of the curriculum was computer science and the other half was business. And leading up to my first job, I had an internship where I did an IT rotational program. I did that for 2 summers, and I had the opportunity to choose which domain I wanted to focus in on, which was project management. And so in terms of my IT experience, I definitely had some when I was moving into this field, but I would definitely say when I was first starting out, it was still quite overwhelming trying to understand the concepts and also trying to layer that into project management. So what I would say is that if you're going 2 different routes where you are completely new to project management and you've chosen IT as the specialty that you want to focus in on, you want to focus on understanding project management, and you also want to focus on understanding a few basic IT concepts. Things like front end, back end, infrastructure, API. There are several other concepts, but if you can understand those ones at a basic level, it's going to help you tremendously when it comes time to talking to your teams and being able to properly manage a project. I primarily focus on software development projects. And so with that, we sometimes will run into issues. Let's say, for instance, I'm working with a software developer who has shared with me that the API that they're working on is not working as expected. We can think of an API as 2 systems talking to each other. For instance, we're building out a system for lawyers. And there's a database that has information. Database is another concept to understand. There's a database of information that could relate to cases that lawyers need to be aware of. And in order for them to use our system and not have to now go into this system as well, they have let us know that it would be helpful to have some sort of connection between the 2 systems. And so this could look like having an API. And so when I'm working with my software developers, if I have that understanding of what an API is, and if they run into an issue with that, then that's going to help me better explain to our customers, not necessarily the API part of things, but it's going to help me to explain to them the different options that they may have and the trade-offs that they may have to consider if we're running into an issue with implementing this particular API. Hopefully that is making somewhat of sense. And if it's not, hopefully it's eliciting some things that you'll want to look up and you'll want to dig deeper into in being able to be an IT project manager. Regardless of whatever type of project management you go into, whether it's IT, whether it's marketing, whether it's construction, whether it's healthcare, because project management exists in any and all industries that have projects, you do want to have a baseline understanding of whatever that domain is, because you're going to be primarily working with those who understand that domain very well. Now, I say this with the caveat that in my experience as an IT project manager, I've never had to delve into the code. I've never had to go into a system and change something. However, some organizations and some teams require that. A way to better elicit and understand if that's going to be the case for you, the rule of thumb that I have is that bigger organizations tend to have more specific roles for the individuals working there versus smaller organizations, you're typically going to have to wear multiple hats. And so if you are someone who is uncomfortable with the idea of getting into the weeds of things and would rather be able to focus more so primarily on project management, you're probably going to want to sway towards bigger organizations. Now, if you're someone who does want to get into the weeds of things and doesn't mind doing some coding and maybe prefers it, then you might want to be open to smaller organizations. And so I say that even with the caveat that this is not an absolute. Some bigger organizations do expect for you to wear multiple hats, and some smaller organizations, it's the opposite, right? So this is something that you'll want to flesh out more in your interview when you're understanding what are the roles and responsibilities for yourself as the project manager. If you want to delve deeper into project management, you can follow me here. You can also sign up for my Introduction to Project Management course or for one-on-one coaching. Those last 2 options are available in the link in my profile.